The college basketball experience pregame show for Saturday, January 7th on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today, bet $100, get a $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET. State restrictions apply, so grab that thing today. And remember to let it ride.
This is Martin Cleese, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo-wee. Welcome to the college basketball experience pregame show. Yeah, we're going to be rocking with you the rest of the Saturdays throughout this college basketball season. We can even touch base on the FCS college football game happening tomorrow, the national championship in the FCS, that for some stupid reason they decided to play on a fucking Sunday. Also, the FBS National Championship Monday night. We can talk it all. We are college sports aficionados. Is that a word? I don't fucking know. All right, but we have a loaded slate today. And I see the chat rolling along. Shout out to the chat. But first, let me introduce, it wouldn't be a Saturday morning without my friend here, host of the NBA Gambling Podcast, host of the WNBA Gambling Podcast. You can hear him on the NFL Gambling Podcast as well. I mean, I think the fantasy football gambling podcast. He comes on the sports gambling podcast. He's got a lot of stats. Give it up for my guy, Terrell Furman Jr. How you doing, man?
Fellas, what's going on? Nothing much. When I'm not on Twitter trying to tell people that I can't hit 100% of my picks, then I'm on here talking football and basketball with the college football and basketball experience.
There we go. And, we have a pretty good slate today, man. I mean, it's I don't think it's as good as New Year's Eve, but I would say it's probably the second best set. I don't know. December 17th is pretty good. I'm a maniac. I know all this shit. Remember,
we did pretty good New Year's Eve too. Like, we made all right. Yeah,
we did do pretty good. I think. I guess we'll just start off right from the start I'm sure you probably didn't get a chance to listen to the show last night because we dropped it late. But Ryan McIntyre, who's going to the West Virginia-Kansas game today in Morgantown. But, he wanted to know your thoughts, not only about the first game that's tipping off today, which is Notre Dame at North Carolina, in general, on the Tar Heels this season. He was like, hey, you guys, you got to let me know what Terrell thinks of the Tar Heels this season. So I guess the floor is yours it's early, right? No panic yet, right?
Yeah, this actually kind of seems like it's a trend in for how Hubert Davis teams go. So last year, I think you remember early on in the season, everybody was like, Carolina's probably going to be in the NIT. Like, they're not making the NCAA tournament. They had struggles early on, and they had a veteran team last year. Like, this isn't just the first year this team has been all put together and they're veterans. No, they were a veteran team last year too. It's just, their teams just kind of start the season slow, reel back some, not really put there. And so now you have the same situation happening, except it's coming off of a trip to the national championship game. And so it looks a lot worse. They were preseason number one because of the veteran leadership that they had. And I don't think that that's gone. I think that they just got into a point where they kind of need to figure out what's the identity of this team. Just because you have the same players as last year doesn't mean you're the same identity of team this year, because other teams are changing. Other teams are progressing. I think they just need to find their identity.
You know who they're missing is Brady Manick. That's the one guy that I thought spaced the court out because he was.
And Nance was supposed to come in and be that. Like, he was supposed to come in and be that. And he hasn't been that yet, at least to the level that Brady Manick was. And even, you could talk about old boy Minnesota. Like, he had a slight role before he got hurt. And then, a whole bunch of other things took him out of the season. He had a role in that offense. So I think they just got to figure out who they are and then get back to playing Hubert Davis style basketball, which is up tempo, moving the ball around, finding the open shooter, and being able to hit outside shots.
Nance is a decent player, but he's a lot different than Manek. And I think one of the things that might help with Manek, and I'm sure Hubert Davis is probably scratching his head trying to figure this out. Manek, I thought the spacing, it made it impossible to double team Baycott because Manek was fucking lights out from three. Or I feel like Nance is a decent jump shooter, but I don't think he has the same. Like Manek was like, I thought, I mean, at least during that stretch, at least. Maybe I got to go back and look at the beginning of the year. Manek was wet from deep towards the end of the season last year. So maybe that's, something that they got to toggle with or something. I don't know. But Notre Dame, North Carolina, first game, it starts in like 25 minutes here. Carolina's laying 12.5 against the Irish. Notre Dame's been disappointing as well. And really a lot of the ACC minus, I think, NC State, Clemson, and Pitt, and maybe even, dare I say, Boston College, have been kind of disappointing. So
Pitt's 4-0 in ACC play already.
They play Clemson today in a gigantic game. Both teams, I believe, undefeated in the ACC.
Yep.
That's a huge game. I ended up taking the Irish plus 12.5 just because I think Carolina's going to win this game. I feel pretty damn good about them winning this game. But 12.5, I don't know that I feel comfortable laying 12.5 against Notre Dame.
Yeah. ACC home court's been big this year, but 12.5 is a lot. Notre Dame's played well on the road. Now they play lesser competition on the road, so that's, the pick. And if you're on North Carolina, that's what you're saying against North Carolina. They went on the road, played Florida State, and played Boston College. Like, now, did they lose those two games? Yes, but Notre Dame, I think, was a 1 point. I mean, Florida State was a 1 point game. Boston College played up for that game. It was a great home spot for them. So,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't bet this game. I know it tips off in 23 minutes now. I personally probably wouldn't bet this game. If I had a side, I'd probably take Notre Dame into 12 just because I just think this is the difficult part of the season for North Carolina where they're still trying to figure things out. And I can see them later this month, maybe early next month is when they start getting to the point where they are, you can't fade them. Like they're going to be starting to hit their shots from the outside. They're going to be spacing the floor. They're going to be running the offense through different ways. Like they can run the offense through the guards. They can run the offense through the bigs. Like I think that's when you're going to see real North Carolina basketball when you get closer to that February timeframe.
And you know what? That might just be the thing. It might not even be the Manek thing. And I know Franny in the chat says he's a Carolina fan out of St. Louis, I believe. And he's right. Carolina's defense is 230th, I feel like. And that was the same case last season, but they fixed that in February. I feel like mid-February, they just kicked it into another gear. So maybe that will just be the case. And the Tar Heels will be fine. I see the chat. Shout out to the chat. Rob Donaldson says, I got 17 bets out there floating around today.
Dang, 17. That's what's up.
Yeah, shout out to you. And then Mookie, who says, I think he's a big Michigan State fan, like the Mateen Cleaves introduction. Let's just hop over to that game because that game is always, I think, a lot of fun to watch. And I'm not from Michigan, but I enjoy watching that matchup year in, year out. Juwan Howard catching 3.5 points right now in East Lansing. Oh, man. So Izzo teams, I feel like Izzo teams haven't been as good the past 5 years.
Yeah, you can say that. Or at least haven't had the level of regular season production. Yeah, I'll say that. Because there was a time that you couldn't fade a Izzo team. And now it's like, oh, well, this is a bad spot for them. I can bet against them and it works out. But in the past, it's been more of, you see Tom Izzo, you're taking him.
Yeah. And I believe Malik Hall, a game time decision for them. And obviously Michigan, the thing that I think is going to really hurt their season is Llewellyn is out for the year. I still think Michigan will be a tournament team, but I do believe that's a pretty big loss for the Wolverines. Izzo made a little joke about the tunnels, the little Said we have 2 tunnels in our stadium. We don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good
Yeah.
one. That was a good one. I laughed at that one. I normally don't laugh at the corny jokes people be saying, but I laughed at that one. I thought that was kind of funny.
Michigan State is laying 3.5. I'm one of these ones where if it's in Ann Arbor, I like Michigan. If it's in East Lansing, I like Michigan State with the line.
I mean, that's how you got to be in the Big Ten overall. Like, that's
True.
how the Big Ten just operates for years. I mean, a lot of teams in college football operate off that, but the Big Ten, you're liable to see, 10 losses at home in the entire conference over the course of a season. So this year has been a little bit of an anomaly for the Big Ten just because of the fact that we're only in January, and it's a few teams that have some losses at home. Michigan State 6-1, Michigan 6-2 with that one loss to Central Michigan. You got Rutgers 10-1, Purdue 7-1. I think that one loss they took was to Rutgers.
Yeah.
Ohio State 7-1 at home. That one loss they took was to Purdue. Like, it's been a history of them being really, really good at home. And at the most, you may see 2, maybe 3 losses over the course of the entire year at home out of 15, 16, 17 games. So yeah, I always like the home team in the Big Ten. I think home court rules. I think home court is everything in this conference and especially in this rivalry. And so while I do think Michigan plays up, the spread is too close for me to try to play Michigan and hope it's like a middle situation. So I'm going to just bet Michigan State.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Moneyline Max, actually, this is one of his favorite plays of the day. He's not here to talk for himself because he's, I'm sure he's probably having a few beverages, assuming he's in Morgantown, West Virginia, as they play a big one we'll get to later. Creighton, this game's within the hour. Creighton is taking on UConn. UConn coming off back-to-back losses. They went to Xavier. They went to Providence, 2 places with absolutely, fire fan bases, fire home court advantages. Now they return to what is that, New Haven, to take on Creighton. And Creighton is a team that has been dinged up. They came in with a ton of hype this season. I've always made the case, and I made this preseason episode for the Big East, that when Creighton has the target on their back or when they're preseason top 10, I feel like McDermott doesn't really get them to live up to the hype. It's the other way around. When they're not projected to be good is when he overachieve. And I see a lot of people loving the Creighton angle. This line opened at 6, or I think 6.5. It's at 7.
Isn't this the team with the guy that got mono, Kalbrenner? Didn't he get mono and was out?
Yeah.
What is mono? Can somebody tell me what mono is? Like, because people be down and out. Like, is that worse than the flu? People be down. Do you remember when Sam Darnold got mono and he was out for like a month?
Yeah, it's like saliva or something, right? It's something through saliva.
I don't know, man. But mono be putting people down. Hey, shoot. Maybe I'm not hip. Maybe I'm too young. But mono be putting people down, and they be taking like a month to recover from it. I'm so glad I never got that. Like, that's crazy.
Well, Cockbrenner's playing today, man, and I think. I actually think UConn's going to fuck them up because I think UConn coming off back-to-back losses, I think UConn's too good of a team to lose 3 straight. I'm actually all over. And I know some people like the fact that Creighton's strengths appear to be the weaknesses of UConn. I don't care. UConn, that place is going to be rocking today. I'm laying I got it at 6. It's 7 now. I still would advise you to lay it at 7 because I think they win by double digits against Creighton. What are you doing here?
All right. Here is my thing. Kalbrenner, now he's totally good. Like, he's really, really good. And he was better before the mono. It's been a little bit drop off, but as I was researching, that it takes people energy. I think he lost like 15 pounds or something like that. Like, I think he lost a bunch of weight while he had it. And so 17-8, his last time out, he's really a 20-10 guy easily. And I think he is a 20-10 guy in this game. However, the issue for Creighton is that UConn is such a pest defensively that I think they're going to let Kalbrenner, because they know they can't stop him. They don't have anybody that matches up to him. So while they're going to have one-on-one matchups with him and do their best and maybe bring a double every now and then, I think they're going to stick like glue to everybody else, and they're going to say, all right, you got to beat us. They're every 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're not going to beat us. 5 has to beat us. And so I don't think Creighton's going to be able to recover from that, even especially on the road. Like if this gets down, if they get down early, I think Creighton's going to fold. So I didn't know I was doing this when I came on the show, but let's do it, Kobe. I seen that Mac and Nick were on Creighton, but I'll back you. Let's go. Let's lock up UConn. I think this is a good bounce back spot for them.
Oh, and this crowd's going to be rocking. Creighton's 0-2 on the road. Now, I know you could say they weren't fully healthy. UConn's 9-0 at home. They've been rolling, and this place,
it's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win on the road in college basketball. I don't think people realize that. You'll look at the best teams in college basketball, and they'll be what's the word I'm looking for? They'll have more losses on the road. Like they'll be under 500 on the road, but so dominant at home. So winning on the road is not easy. And I know it's 7. This could be a close game, but I think there's more opportunity for free throws, more opportunity for UConn just kind of push this lead late in the game. So yeah, early slate, I'll take UConn late 7.
Let's stay in the Big East. At the same time, St. John's is heading to Providence. I don't know what it is, man. I liked Mike Anderson at Arkansas. I liked him at Missouri. Something about him in New York City that just hasn't gone the way I thought it could potentially go. And Andre Curbelo, the Illinois transfer, who obviously had his issues with Underwood, and it seems like everybody does right now. But last season they played better without Curbelo in Champaign. Now he transfers to St. John's. They've been disappointing. I know he missed showed up late to a team meeting. They didn't play him last game. He's traveling with the team today. Mm-hmm. So he's too good of a talent. I feel like you need him on the court, especially if you're St. John's. But I don't know about the state of that locker room. I don't know. They also benched Posh Alexander. But they head to Providence. But Providence is coming off that gigantic win against UConn. But man, this place has been on fire lately. One of the hardest places to win in college basketball over the past 2 years, if not the hardest from a stats point of view. Providence is laying 6. What are you thinking here?
Shoot, was it 6 or 7.5?
I'm seeing 6, a flat 6 right now. It actually came down. It opened at 6.5.
Okay.
It actually smells a little bit. I feel
trying to figure out which way the line is going.
I know it's coming down, so it seems like money is coming on the Red Storm.
Yeah, it is. And I just wanted to make sure I had that right because I was on the Red Storm in this game. I wouldn't go out here and say a money line win, but I feel confident in saying the Red Storm just to keep it close because when you think about these games and you think about how St. John plays, they play up tempo. They score the basketball in bunches. Like they are a team that can go on streaks. They get hot, they get cold, but they go on streaks. And I think that's really the way that they stay in this game. It's just that the streaks come in the right time. I'm looking for the second half. If I played Providence, I probably played them early in the first half because I think that St. John's in the second half can come out really, really streaky and just have stretches where they maybe even take that lead back. And it's kind of back and forth at this one. I think this is going to be a great game, but high scoring. If I had to make a play, I'd probably make a play on the over. If I did, maybe adjust it over, something like that. But I think we see a lot of points in this one. I think this is a fun one.
Yeah, I think the more I think about it, I think you have to take St. John's here. They've lost 4 in a row. This was a 4-point game the last time they played. I think Providence can still win. And
this is a game to get up for. It's a game to get up for. Providence, they're probably 5 in a row losses for St. John's, which is going to be tough, especially how they start the season. But I don't think they just go lying down. Like, I don't think this is going to be a double-digit win by Providence at all. So I see that there was an 8.5 out there. If somebody's sitting on a St. John's plus 8.5, I think they feel pretty confident in their team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid there. Look, I know you're a VCU fan. I'm a VCU. I've always liked VCU as well. I think we should bet this game today. I know they're coming off of VCU hit the road to Pitt.
But see, Kobe, that's the difference between me and you. Because you said you think we should bet the game today. I know we should bet this game today. Lock up the VCU Rams -5, -6, whatever you get it at. They are going to bounce back at home against Davidson.
You're right. You're right. And look, I'm all over this. I'm all over this one. I've already bet it myself too, because this Davidson team specifically, they have 0 athletes. Like this team a couple of years ago, they had a couple guys. I think VCU's going to put it on them. VCU's coming off that bad loss in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I love this play.
They were in that game too. They were in that game.
Yeah, they battled.
They could have got a win in that game. But Ace Baldwin shot terribly. I think he was 3 for 10 from the field. He had like 10 points. Brennan Johns had a game. That's my guy. I liked him at Michigan. I love when he transferred to VCU. He's exactly the guy that Rhodes is looking for. So I think that at home, you get a little bit more comfortable. VCU doesn't take too many losses now. Like, they really don't. So I think this is a spot where at home they settle back in against a Davidson team that is really trending to being, honestly, a 500 spoiler in the conference. Like, I could see them being a 500 team where you're not thinking they're going anywhere. And towards the end of the conference play, they probably give somebody a loss on the road that they're really stinging against. But I'm not taking them at this spot of the season. I'm not taking them on the road against this VCU team. Not at all.
Yeah. I know Patrick Travers in the chat says need a lock. This is one. I mean, we locked up UConn already, but I like this one. I think I might even like this one more because of the situation. Davidson coming off a big win against Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, I was on them in that game. So, I'm not just fading them. I was on them in that game against Loyola Chicago. I haven't liked what I've seen against Loyola Chicago this season, and Davidson, it seemed like a good spot for them, but this is where they come back down to earth and realize that they're not a team that can string 2, 3, 4, 5 wins together in a row.
This is just a bad matchup for them, in my opinion. Like, the strength of VCU, they're a top 40 defense.
Yep.
When you lack athleticism, which Davidson certainly does, Davidson's a good program. You know what I mean? Like, they get the maximum out of their talent, I would say, pretty much every year. But this is a bad matchup for them because I believe VCU can lock them down. Even Foster Lawyer, the Michigan State transfer, he's got his work cut out for him today. And I just don't see a scenario, especially when you add in the fact VCU lost their last game. This is more important for them to open up A-10 play. And I think the stadium, the Stuart Siegel Center, I think will be rocking. So give me VCU minus the points all day. One of the biggest surprises this year is the Missouri Tigers and Dennis Gates, who probably early candidate for Coach of the Year. They're laying 8.5 against Vandy. Kind of a sleepy game because, Missouri, 2 games ago, they beat Kentucky. They almost knocked off Arkansas and Fayetteville the other night. I lost money on that because I thought Arkansas was going to put it to them. They're laying 8.5 at home. I know this place will be rocking because it seems like the fans have been. Gates has already, lit a fire as far as like getting the fans back to, because Missouri's kind of been a sleepy field for a while. Mm-hmm. I think he's got this place excited about the future of Missouri basketball. I'm laying the 8.5, but I don't love it because I do think it is a look ahead spot. What are you doing here? It's just a kind of a nice setup for.
Who do they have next?
They have the next up. They have A&M on the road.
Ew. That's nasty.
but hey, man, Dennis Gates has got this offense rolling. Missouri. What? I think they're 4th in the nation in points per game, 6th in field goal percentage, 19th in 3-point field goal percentage. Overall, the number 1 offensive rating in the country. That is impressive to me. Year 1, I mean, shit. A lot of times it takes coaches a while to get your system down. I know he brought a couple guys from Cleveland State with him, but still, I think he should be Coach of the Year. If the season stopped right now, I would put him as Coach of the Year.
I think it's a good spot just because I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I think that last Arkansas game was their first true road game.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty decent spot playing that game and then not having to do a back-to-back road game, like coming back on the road after that loss, kind of sitting there, reevaluating the team, putting it all together and getting ready for this game, especially with A&M on the horizon. Like, you want to go back on the road in the win streak, have some confidence going on the road. I think I play something early with Missouri just in case, they are thinking ahead and, towards the end of that second half, they just kind of let Vanderbilt battle back and it ends up being like a 6-7 point win instead of a 9-10 point win. So I think I'd play Missouri in the first half, maybe a first half -4 to -3.5, whatever it's at. But yeah, I like Missouri in this one.
Texas, Chris Beard, parted ways. Crazy story out of Austin. Texas, though, still a 3-point road favorite as they go into Stillwater. Oklahoma State's going to take this one personal because I feel like their little brother in these situations. And they always, I feel like they own Texas in football in the past decade. Mike Boynton's squad, I feel like, been underrated all year. They're getting 3. I wonder what morale is like with the Texas Longhorns right now. They just gave up a shit ton of points to Kansas State and Jerome Tang. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to win at home. Not going to lock it, but I think OK State is the more motivated bunch here. What are you doing here?
All right, here. So I don't really know what to make of this game. And it's because does Texas get up? Does Texas roll over?
Texas, they've been a lockdown defensive team under Beard, and we saw it earlier in this year, but they just gave up 116 points to Kansas State. What the fuck was that? That's got to be buy-in, right? After the
it is. And it's, sometimes you just, as a handicapper, you just realize spots that you're not good in. And there's a lot of spots where I see a dog in a 12 p.m. Saturday slate, and I'm like, wow, that dog really has a chance of winning that game outright, but I don't pick them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with my guns, and my gut tells me to go Oklahoma State. So give me Oklahoma State, and I'm gonna lock it up. Actually.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they're going at home. Texas on the road. Beard just got fired. Like this organization doesn't know what's going on, how to get this thing going. So yeah, I think this is a good spot for Oklahoma State to catch them slipping in what is a monster Big 12 conference. Like, how did the Big 12 have the best conference in football and basketball?
Yeah, dude, in their basketball conference, they're adding Houston, and I even think the BYU edition will help too. UCF and Cincy need to get their shit a little bit together, but they might be adding Gonzaga. There's been speculation about that. If they did that, well, first off, Gonzaga might not want to do that because you might start losing a lot of games.
Yeah, you got to go cross country on the road. I wouldn't even want to do that. Like, of course, Gonzaga would be a hard place to play, but it'd be a hard place to play everywhere else.
Yeah.
Imagine Gonzaga going into Morgantown. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's cross country.
That's tough.
Yeah. Got to touch base on this game because I find this game very intriguing. Mike White, I thought, did a decent job at Florida as a head coach. The fans, the alumni were not happy with him. I feel like he made the tournament a lot of times. Didn't make it that far, but it's tough to follow Billy Donovan, who won 2 national championships. I think White made one Sweet 16, but made the tournament almost every year. Now you have, he felt underappreciated, so he just up and left. For Georgia, they're bitter rivals. Now, you look at what he's doing at Georgia. They're 1-0 in SEC plays. They just beat the Auburn Tigers.
Yep.
They're 11-3. And Florida goes and gets Todd Golden. And let me tell you, they're 7-7, and they have not looked very good.
I want you to know this line smells.
Dude, I think this game's personal. I'm taking the fucking Georgia Bulldogs. I think
this smells. Why are they catching 8.5?
Because I think
Florida. Do you think Florida's that good?
No, I don't.
So why is Florida laying like that? I am a very cocky guy. I'm a very confident guy. I think I'm better than a lot of people. I really do. I'm not better than the books. I have no idea why this line is at 8.5. Like, I've been struggling trying to figure this out for the longest. I have no idea why this line is at 8.5. Why is Florida an 8.5 point favorite?
Yeah, I'm going with the revenge, man. I bet you he's had this fucking game circled ever since the SEC schedule dropped.
I'll let you know right now. If we don't cash this, no, Kobe, we can't take this. 87% of the money's on Georgia, and it went from 7.5 to 8.5. We can't take this.
I won't lock it then, but I'm taking it. I can't look at Florida's schedule and show me the good win.
No, that's what I'm saying. So why are they laying 8.5, especially after Georgia just beat Auburn? Why would they be laying this? Georgia's 11-3. Why would they be laying this? This doesn't make sense. This makes complete
Maybe
sense.
Georgia's 0-2 on the road. Maybe that angle. I don't know, but you're right. The line's still shocking to me. I thought this would be more. I thought Florida might even be favored at like 3 or 4, maybe even 5. But
no, I understand making them a favorite. They're at home. Yes, I get that. Why are they laying almost 9 points? That literally makes zero sense.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And they set this line for a reason. Maybe it's the fact that everybody in Florida feels like this is a get up spot for the Florida game, but I just don't. I'm not betting this line because it just literally doesn't make sense to me. This should be maybe a 2-3 point line.
Yeah, no, I agree there. But give me the Georgia Bulldogs. Duke at Boston College. You say, why would I mention this game? Well, this line opened up at 10. It's down to 8. Boston College kind of played a little bit better than what most people, they beat Virginia Tech. Who did they beat the other night? They beat somebody else the other night. And all of a sudden, someone's got to get these wins in the ACC. I'm not saying that that's necessarily against Duke, but there's a lot of room for, Syracuse is, I know they're at the top of the ACC right now in 3rd place or something, but they're not very good. You look around. If Pitt is your best team, I think BC thinks, hey, we could maybe give Pitt a game. You look around, Georgia Tech. I think, if you're Earl Grant, you're saying, hey, we could beat Georgia Tech. We could beat Louisville. We could beat a lot of these teams. We already beat Virginia Tech. We could beat Florida State. I think there's optimism if you're like Wake Forest or Boston College, these teams that have been in the basement.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of optimism on the season right now.
Yeah.
Duke traditionally kind of a sleepy spot in Chestnut Hill under Coach K coach teams. I feel like Duke would probably win majority of these, but they'd have to earn it. It'd be like a 2-3 point game. But this situation, Duke's coming off of a ass whooping. I mean, NC State whooped their ass. They never had the lead in that game, never sniffed the lead in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Now BC's catching 8.
Shout out to NC State's what's dude's name? Jarkel Joyner.
Yeah.
Shout out to NC State's Jarkel Joyner, big man on campus. NC Nick's big man on campus.
Yeah, he's
21 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. NC State. I was watching and I was looking. I was like, "Oh, come on, Nick! You got to make him the big man on campus." After he put up a crazy DFS game, and you're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's you got to give him credit there. He owned the team that whooped his ass. But this situation, Jeremy Roach out, which I think he's like the most important player on this year's team. And I'm on BC. Give me BC in the points.
I think it's a good spot at home. I'm trying to figure out how I see the game going, and I can see a situation where Duke gets out early, trying to start with a fast tempo, carry a lead, carry the rest of this game. I know Duke feels like they are 100% the better team, but you are going into a tough environment to play this game. And so Boston College, they're no slouch at home. Like, this ACC home play is really good. Like, the home court in the ACC is really, really good this year. And I think that this is a game where they get up for Duke coming into this building. So laying 8-9 points, I feel confident.
Blood in the water, man. Blood in the water. One of the games of the day. You can make an argument this is the best game of the day. Kentucky heads into Alabama. It's been a tough year for John Calipari, and me and Moneyline Mac are already, I think we were ahead of the curve a little bit here with Texas firing Chris Beard and Texas having endless money.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if John Calipari is the next coach of Texas. It just seems like Calipari's at war with the fan base. What is it, Big Blue Nation? But regardless, he's got a very talented team. They just haven't been cohesive. They go to Tuscaloosa, where, the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nate Oates, they've been a fun team to watch. And look, I know you host the NBA Gambling Podcast. Brandon Miller is going to be in the NBA very, very soon. And I think he's going to be a pretty damn good player in the NBA When I watch him at Alabama, I say, whoa, how the fuck, I think he was almost like, I know he was a big time recruit, but I almost think he should have been even bigger of a recruit.
Yeah.
I just can't take Kentucky here. I can't. Based on what I've seen, they didn't cover against LSU.
Yeah.
They didn't cover even against Louisville.
Yeah.
I got to take Bama minus the 6 at home. Just, I get it. I think last time they played, Kentucky won by 9.
But let's rewind a little bit. Do you think they should have been 10-point favorites in that game?
Which the LSU game? No.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't have. I think that was an unfair line, that there was no chance of them covering that game.
But tell me though, what's the Kentucky game where you sat there and watched and said, you know what, they look good? Even like the Michigan game in London.
No, they didn't even look good in the Louisville game.
Yeah. I just feel like they just don't look like a really good team to me. They look like they have talent, but just they can't put it together. Almost like Texas in football.
But I think I wouldn't say their back is against the wall, but I do think that this is a spot where they say, all right, we've started the season 0-2 on the road. We're going in here to play Alabama, who is now apparently a top 10 team after we known years, not just not recent basketball, but years beforehand, we know Alabama was not to be a basketball school. They just turned it on in the past 4 or 5 years, really.
Yeah.
So I think that this is an opportunity for this Kentucky squad and the young guys in this Kentucky squad and Calipari to get up for this road game. Like you're going into a top 10 place on the road. If you have a good showing here, that goes, you don't have to win, but if you have a good showing, that goes miles for March after the conference tournament where they're deciding seeding and all of that. You get a win on the road here, and that's big. I think this is a spot that Kentucky actually gets up for. The line does smell a little bit. I think that Alabama probably should be a larger bit of a favorite. And I do see the line coming down in places, which just, goes on my side that the sharps are on Kentucky in this one. Yeah, I'm going to back Kentucky here, plus 5.5. I know it's an ugly play, but I think that that's the good one.
And Kip C brings up a good point. Alabama, got this old Paul Westhead philosophy where they jack up a lot of shots. I mean, they play at an unbelievably high pace. They run up the court. They use their athleticism, I think, as a plus. But that can also burn you sometimes. That can burn you sometimes when you're not calculated and you're just running up the court, and just trying to make plays. Now, I love it, but I also think there are games where you need to probably tone it back a tiny bit. This might be one of them.
This is going to be a grow-up game for Kentucky, one way or another. It's going to be a grow-up game for Kentucky, and I think that this is the game where they turn their season around, and I'm not saying that they're going to go and end up as a 1 seed or anything like that, but I think that they turn their season into a positive direction where they actually put together good performances. Sometimes those hard games and those hard performances, especially in college basketball, when you see these spots, you see these teams go on the road and they're playing a top 10 team and they get up for that game, that's the turning point. And that's saying that's how we play basketball. And I think this is the game where they say, this is how we play basketball. This is what we're going to do in the future.
Yeah. And shout out to the chat. Pete Rodriguez, we'll get you with the parlay at the end of this, buddy. Got to touch base on this one. Did you see Brad Underwood the other night, by the way?
Oh, he was electric.
And you see he lost one of his recruits. Just quit the team. It's I don't know what is happening there. I know Moneyline Max saying he knew, I guess, inside sources, he was with Bob Huggins at West Virginia, but apparently Terrence Shannon, there's Chris Beard had clashed with them, Mark Adams clashed with them, and apparently now, Underwood has clashed with them some this season. Very talented player, though, we all know. Wisconsin's coming into Illinois.
I'm not backing Illinois.
Dude, I love Wisconsin right now. Plus 7.
The Illinois may get the win, but I'm not backing Illinois to win by margin right now. I think I'll lock up Wisconsin.
That's what I'm saying.
That's rare. That's rare.
Give me Wisconsin plus 7. Let's go.
Just think about how Wisconsin plays basketball, and they are very methodical in slowing the game down, playing very, very good sets out the half court, getting the shot that they want. They may take 25 of the 30 seconds to get the shot that they want, but they're going to find the shot that they want, and then they're going to come back on the other end, and they're going to play elite level defense. I think this is a game that Shannon can struggle a little bit, shooting percentage, he may give you the same 17, 18 points that he normally gives, but it may be on 35% shooting, and that's not going to be good enough for you to win by margin.
And then when you add in the fact Wisconsin takes great care of the basketball, 4th in the nation at taking care of the basketball, I think
Tyler Wall being out is big, though.
that is true. That is true. But I just can't take Illinois. I like right now, something ain't right. Something ain't right in the water right now. And look, I don't know that Underwood helps his calls by yelling like that. You know what I mean? Like certain players that might work. I don't know that this is working. You saw a player quit the team. Morale is down, I think, in Champaign. Give me the Badgers plus the
Where's
7.
the money? I can't imagine that anybody is really backing Illinois in this spot.
It opened at 6.5, so it hasn't jumped too much. It kind of stayed put.
And don't get me wrong, I do think Illinois probably wins this game. Like, I do think they probably win the game. Yeah, so it's about it. It looks like some of the sharps are coming in on. Oh well, no, mine's moving up and down, but it looks like some sharps are on Illinois in this game. But I do think they get a win. But am I going to sit here and go all the way to 7? No, I'm not going to do that.
Got to touch base on this game. I think this might be you could make a case this is the best game of the day, and I bet you probably a couple months ago you probably wouldn't have said that. Iowa State's coming into TCU. TCU just 13-1, red fucking hot. They've won 11 straight. Their football team also, I believe, 13-1 as well, which is crazy. But Iowa State back-to-back wins there. You know, took down Baylor, then went on the road, took down Oklahoma. They're getting 5.5. This opened at 6, I believe. No, it opened at this line's moved all around. I'm seeing it right now. It opened at 4.5, went all the way up to 6, now coming back down to 5.5. This is some gritty Big 12 defensive game here because when you look at it, both these teams top 14 defenses. Iowa State's number 7, TCU's number 14. This game's fantastic. I'm actually going to take the points, though. I think it's a letdown spot because, look, TCU's been working to get past Baylor. They finally did last game. I still think TCU can win this game. Mike Miles went off in that Baylor game.
Mm-hmm.
He's a baller. But I think State can hang tough. I think this could be a 1-possession, 2-possession game. Give me the points. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I think we're in the same boat. And I think this is going to be a great game, and it's going to be back and forth. And we both think TCU wins. However, I think TCU does get to the margin in this one. I'm getting it at 5.5. Anything could send this over. Free throws, a timely bucket, anything like that. This is going to be a close game, a really fun game. I think I kind of like the under more as the best play in this one. But, yeah, man, I'm taking TCU. I think I've been fading TCU for too long, and I think this is a good spot for them, especially with Iowa State coming off of this is the second road game, so back-to-back road games for them this week.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a game. And then you can make a case for this one. Clemson at Pitt, ACC first place on the line. Holy shit! If you would have told me that in November 3rd, I would say, give me some of the drugs that you are on because holy shit, Clemson's catching 2.5 at Pitt. I feel like Pitt hasn't played a road game in like 6 months. Pitt's won 5 in a row. Clemson's won 4 in a row. Something's got to give. I think Pitt is going to get it done, but this game's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, no, I mean, both of these teams are good, and they're both good to the margin. 8-7 this season for Clemson, 11-3-1 for Pitt ATS. Pitt is actually on a 10-0 ATS streak right now. 10-0 in their last 10 games.
And that seat was hot. I was questioning whether you bring him back or not. Back, making a fool. That's the best part about sports. Yeah. The best part about sports. All you got to do is have a couple of people believe, and then you can have idiots like me, looking like fools. Shout out
5-1 as a favorite on the season. I mean, like I said, ACC home court is really it right now. So
getting it done, unless you're Louisville.
I think that for me, it's only one way to play this or I'll pass because this is such a close game. You don't have to bet every game. And I'm perfectly fine saying that I think this is a coin toss and I don't want to bet this game. But if I did, I'd probably follow the money, and the public is all over Pitt. because of how Pitt has been doing recently. And the public may win because Pitt is 10-0 in their last 10 ATS. So if I had to play, I'd probably take the dog. And just because I think Clemson has a little bit more longevity as a team and just how they play defense, the defense travels. And so I think that they're going to give Pitt everything defensively that they can handle. I just don't know if Clemson's offense is good enough to be able to take advantage of that. That's why this line is exactly on the mark. I'm not betting it, but if I had a side, I'd probably just take the dog and close my eyes.
Xavier heads into Villanova. Villanova's laying 2. Villanova's laying 2. You know what? We might have to break out early here in a second because I got to let somebody in. Let's give away a parlay. And I'm sorry, we're going to have to break out. I got to let someone who's been knocking on the fucking door for a minute here. Let's what are you doing in this Nova game?
Nova, I'll take Villanova. Give me Villanova at home.
Yeah, I think Villanova, Shaka Smart did it again last week. Villanova doesn't lose at home that often. I think it's a good spot to jump back on Nova. But Xavier, experienced team. So, Villanova's young. I feel like, yes, they have some experience, but some youth as well as some youth in the coaching realm. Interesting game there. I'm on Nova, though. Syracuse at Virginia. Isn't this crazy that Syracuse is I think Syracuse sucks, all right? They're in third place.
They do.
They're in third place in the ACC right now.
Yeah.
This is suddenly a huge game. They're in Charlottesville catching 12 against Tony Bennett. I mean, you let the Qs hang around. I got to take the points because I can't, Tony Bennett's team's only going to score 60. So you're telling me Syracuse is going to score less than 48?
Do you think that Syracuse has been shooting the ball well this season?
No, I don't think they're talented. Gerard can hit threes.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as they should have lost to Louisville the other night. They're not a good team. I don't know. I guess schedule. They almost came back and beat Pitt. But
I think this is a rout. I think this is a rout by UVA. I don't think Syracuse is in this game at all. I think this is 49-65.
Yeah.
I think Syracuse is going to be outclassed in this game.
I could see it because Virginia is coming off the loss too. Want to touch base? I guess we'll just keep this guy waiting. Or K-State's at Baylor. This one's super intriguing to me because Jerome Tang for 20 years was an assistant for Scott Drew. He goes and takes the job of K-State. And by the way, if you're not going to name Dennis Gates head coach of the year, may I make the case then for Jerome Tang? 13-1, just lit up the Texas Longhorns in Austin. They're getting 6.5 at Baylor. I like them to cover this one because you spent 20 years as Scott Drew's assistant. I think you're going to know what he's planning. Now, I still think Baylor's going to find a way to win this game because I doubt Baylor drops 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But give me the points in K-State. What are you doing here?
The one time I bet K-State was their one loss on the season.
It's like
I have not bet Kansas State basketball all season except for one game, and it was when they were catching 5.5 at Butler. So I mean, I'm not gonna bet this game. I like K-State. I feel that's why it makes me want to take Baylor because this is literally the same spot, the same line that I felt about that Butler game.
Yeah,
and they lost. And it was their one loss of the season. I'll reluctantly take K-State, but I don't feel good about this one. This could go either way, but I do think Baylor gets a win.
Kansas is at West Virginia. Moneyline Mac probably already burning couches, sipping some whiskey and Coke probably. Oh man, Moneyline Mac dropped some intel on me that I didn't know. That Bob Huggins cashes $25,000 every time he beats Kansas.
Really?
Yeah, that's in his contract.
All right.
That will give you a reason to hit practice a little harder, I feel like.
That would give me a reason. That would give me a reason if I'm on Kansas to be like, oh, we are going to never drop a game against him. You got a bounty on our heads. Oh, I would get up if I was Kansas and I found that I would get up for that game. Like, no, I don't care. We're gonna make sure that he don't collect money off our heads.
Yeah,
However,
unbelievable. Now Kansas, back-to-back wins against Oklahoma State and Texas Tech, and I was on the Oklahoma State game. I was on the wrong side on the Texas Tech, but both games, Kansas fouled the shit out of the opposing team's players, and they didn't call. Like, I'm talking Pitt. Oklahoma State had a putback where, like, Kansas dude just kind of, like, blocks him and hits him in the fucking face.
Yeah.
They don't call anything. And then in the Texas Tech game, like a little screen and roll action where the Kansas guy just tackles the big man, and they go to pass it in there, and the ball goes away, and it's like, wait, what? Yeah. Does it catch up to him in Morgantown? I think it does, and I think Bob Huggins is looking for $25,000. Right? So I'm gonna, maybe this is me because Moneyline Mac's there and he wants to storm the court.
Yeah, he does.
But I just feel like Kansas has been living on the edge the past 2 games. This is a far fucking trip to Morgantown. Give me the Mountaineers. What are you doing here?
I mean, I know. I knew we were doing this show all week, and I was sitting there. I'm like, man, Moneyline Mac is going to make me make a decision on this game. And I want to fade him so bad just to piss him off. He's a Commanders fan, so I wanted to fade him just to piss him off. I couldn't get there. Let's go with West Virginia on the money line. Oh. I think Kansas is due for a loss. This conference, I'm still in football. This conference is absolutely all over the place, head on its heels. Everybody's stealing wins from everywhere. And I think this is a good spot for Bob Huggins at home to get a pretty good win, especially with the style of defense he plays against this Kansas team. I think that this is going to be a beautiful game. I'll go with I'll back you all. I'll back you all. West Virginia on the money line.
Let's go. Final game that we'll talk about, but then we'll talk parlay action. Arkansas heads to Auburn. Man, I know Auburn, the jungle gets lit, but I don't think Auburn's very good this year. I got Arkansas winning on the road, catching 2. Just take it on the money line.
Arkansas are my guys. They're if it's not a VA school, Arkansas are my guys. And Ricky Council IV, he's my frat brothers. He trained them. He worked with them on his shot over the summer. He's been balling. I think that this is a very good road spot for this team to get right. Like, this Arkansas team needs to get right on the road. They have to get past that mental block, because once they do, they're going to go up into the echelon of a top 10 team at this point. Like, that is the last block that they have, and they have to figure out how to win on the road. I think they do that today. Give me Arkansas on the money line.
Yeah, and Rob is in the chat saying no Nick Smith. That is correct. He is a good player.
Yeah, he is.
But I still think Arkansas is just the better team, and I think also they're the better coach team. I know momentum is a thing. They gotta handle the momentum of that place, because that place, if Auburn scores on a couple possessions and Arkansas does not have their shit together, you can get blown out the fucking gym in that place. But
absolutely.
I'm gonna take the Razorbacks. I think they're the better team. All right, look, let's get to we got a couple minutes left here. I know there's some other good games that we didn't touch on. Oh, actually, I guess we could touch. UNLV heads into New Mexico. That's a really good
it is
major game. UNLV is getting 5.5 at the Pitt there. New Mexico's coming off their first loss of the season. I actually love hopping on New Mexico, and that environment is crazy. I will lock up New Mexico minus 5.5 at the Pitt. What are you doing here?
I think they're getting 5.5.
Yeah.
This is a really good game, though.
It is. It really is. Like, Mountain West.
I'm not going to lock them up, but I'll take UNV plus. You locked up New Mexico. I'll take UNLV. I think this is a close game. I think this is a one possession game. I really, really like some of the players on this UNLV squad, especially Harkless coming over was just big for them, like huge for them. And it seems like when you watch him on the court, he's so much happier because he's getting to play the style of basketball he wants to play. When he was over there at Oklahoma. When he was at Oklahoma, he was more of a role player guy. He was more of a guy that just kind of went off when other people were out and he got in the lineup and went out. Now he gets to be the guy, and he's absolutely been thriving in it. So, yeah, I think that they keep this close, and it's a 3-point game. I'll take UNLV in the points.
Rob Donaldson in the chat says North Texas is at Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee's getting 3.5. That's one of his favorite bets of the day. Hey, I'm on North Texas, but I think that's a game. Two good programs that have, had success in March over the past, 5-6 years. So good game in the CUSA. Let's talk parlays though. I have a Ram parlay that I want to do. I want to do VCU minus the points.
Okay.
And then I want to take a shot. Fresno State just beat New Mexico to deal it. New Mexico was the last undefeated team in college basketball. Fresno State just upset them in Fresno. Now they're heading to Fort Collins to take on Colorado State, who was a tournament team a year ago. I know Colorado State's had their struggles this year, but a lot of that's been injuries. Isaiah Stevens was out for a while. I think the Colorado State Rams, I'm going to lay – I know this line has shot up a little bit. Last night when I did the shows at 5.5. I think it's at 6.5 now, maybe even 7. I will lay both favorites, both Ram teams. Give me VCU minus the points. Give me Colorado State minus the points. I think Colorado State's going to win by double digits against Fresno. What are you doing, or what do you think of that one?
No, I like it. I would bet that VCU play. The only reason I'm not betting is because I'm in Virginia right now. I can't bet college basketball, Virginia schools in Virginia. So I'm missing out on that in the Virginia game. I'm really sick about it because I would play both of those and parlay those together as well. But yeah, no, I'm all over VCU. I think this is a great spot for VCU today.
Clark's saying, do we add Rhode Island? No.
Add them at your own risk.
Yeah. I probably like Fordham better than I do Rhode Island if they're the Rams too. So, but I just think you stick to VCU and Colorado State, man. If you want to do all four, I'll respect it, but enter at your own risk there. What about you, parlay wise? You got anything you're keeping an eye on? You maybe
Well, Kobe, I always got a little something I keep my eye on now. Like I'm gonna play that Oklahoma State game today. So I'm sitting here trying to make my crazy 100-1 college basketball parlay right now. I got Oklahoma State. I got Missouri in the first half minus 4.5. I have TCU money line in there just to get that. I have Villanova, Michigan State in there. There's 5 teams, 17-1 right now. I kind of want to find a big value play that just boosts this insane number.
I got you.
What's up?
Let's take a shot. Look, Charleston has the longest win streak in America. They've won 14 straight. They're on CBS. They were on CBS Sports Network today, taking on Delaware. But Delaware's got Jameer Nelson Jr., who can ball, right? And Delaware's been a weird team. Like we could eat shit on this, but they're 13-point dogs. They're plus 600 on the money line.
Whew.
Look, last time they played a year ago, there was Pat Kelsey. I know this Charleston team's better, but it was still Pat Kelsey and Charleston. Charleston won by 3. I think Delaware could be a live dog. I think they could. I think this is a close game, is what I'm saying. And for that number being that jacked up, I wouldn't be surprised if Delaware knocked them off because they're due for a loss. They are fucking due for a loss. The only thing I would like it more is if it was on the road. But taking a
if it was on the road, I would be there. At home, I think it's going to be close. I like them covered spread. Yeah,
I do too. But
I just seen that team go on the road and handle my Aggies. So they're good. Like they are good. That is a good squad.
But here's another reason though. The best other team besides them in the CAA is UNC Wilmington. That game is next, and it's at Wilmington. This is a look ahead
spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Delaware Blue Hens plus 600. Let's go. I don't know. That's just the one. I don't know. We got one more minute if you want to tell us around it. How about Virginia Tech? I like Virginia Tech to get back on the winning side of things, laying the 5.
Yeah, I love all the Virginia schools today. I just can't bet them. I love all the Virginia schools, which means that they're all going to cash. Like, that just means they're all going to cash. But I love the Virginia schools today. I really do.
There you go. How about you do a little Virginia parlay, people, if you can?
Yeah, that's probably 6-1. If
you're not in the state.
If you take Virginia Tech, Virginia, and VCU, you're probably going to get around 6-1 odds on that.
There you go. There you go. Folks, we will be back tonight talking, or, me and I'm assuming when Moneyline Mac makes it back from Morgantown. Regardless, I'll be back tonight talking best bets for tomorrow and recapping all of today's action. Be back later tonight, so stick around. Folks, appreciate you tuning into the college basketball experience. Remember, also check out the college football experience. We got the FCS National Championship episode. I mean, we have a National Championship episode out that covers the FCS and the FBS. Obviously, the FCS National Championship tomorrow, FBS Monday. We got you covered. Also talking coaching carousel, transfer portal, all that good stuff. Check out that. Check out the college baseball experience. Noah Beanick's getting ready to that season goes into full swing in February. And then Terrell Furman Jr., all of his work. Come on, check it out. Subscribe. Give him a follow on Twitter at reallyrail __. But check out the NBA Gambling Podcast. Check out the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Check out the NFL Gambling Podcast. A lot of great work he's doing. So check it out. Appreciate him joining. Folks, get the SGPN app if you're curious about any of our picks. Get the SGPN app because we have it all there. Also, which, by the way, that app is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. Also, hop in the Discord, talk some sports with us, college hoops, whatever the sport. It could be fucking badminton going on in New Delhi, and I'm sure there's a channel there ready to cover that. So do that, and until then, let's make some fucking money today. This is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
Yeah, I make the best records, got the test pressures, and people pressing up to see the professor. I profess my love for the fresh pressure. Put pressure on you types, the much less just a customer in Westchester. Worldwide girls know me as a breast molester. I'm fresh on the keys like John Medeski. Yesterday used to be scrambled eggs for breakfast. Got big expectations and some big checklists. Make it happen, quit flashing your chicklets. Cause the company jargon sounding ridiculous. I'm suspicious that you're just stickless. Yeah, it sticks.